Welcome to Northwynd 2, episode 33. This is the third and final prologue of the series for now. So I have recently done 3 videos. I posted the other 2 a few months ago. I wanted to get this one, up at the same time, or about the same time, but I am outstanding at procrastinating. And the purpose of these 3 prologue episodes that I'm doing years after the main series is specifically for those of you out there who are exclusively soloers and feel like there's no path for you to get Threads of Fate, which are an endgame raid currency that you get out of legendary raids, meaning raids that are base level 30 and up. I think for probably most DDO players, the thought of soloing a legendary raid seems pretty crazy. And what I want to do is demonstrate that these older raids just don't stack up to today's standards. And these raids were made in a bygone time and during an era in which the power curve was in a very different place than it is today. And I'm purposely putting myself at a disadvantage by logging into this toon that is, 5 years out of date. And even at the time, this is a toon that's not on my main server. It was just for a video series that I did, and I only ran a couple lives with it. So this gear that's 5 years old, it wasn't even top end gear at the time. And this was like a hybrid caster tank, so it's a low DPS build. I'm also still only level 30, and I still don't have my epic destinies activated. And I have very few Reaper points. And I have, basically no past lives. And so I'm putting myself at kind of a silly disadvantage by not even activating my epic destinies, just to show that you don't even need all that stuff to get some of these older raids done, even solo. Now, I posted a couple other solos on my main. I'd gotten to, my final life. I got all the past lives I wanted on Ginger, and I was challenging myself to do some solos that I'd never done before. And, I like to share those challenges with you guys. And on one of them, a couple people said, "Oh, you're just showing off." I don't make content to show you what I can do. I make content to show you what you can do. And that's exactly the point of these 3 prologue or epilogues for Northwynd 2. I want you to see that there's a path for you. If you're exclusively a soloer, I want you to see that you can do this. It's going to take some practice. I show you how to do it in here. But you totally can. I mean, if I can do it on this really out-of-date character that's only level 30, well, heck, tomorrow, literally, the level cap's going up to 34, and even better gear is coming out, and this toon is so out of date without any epic destinies activated. I also want to mention that, in an earlier intro, I said that there might be 4 of these, but there's only going to be 3. The 4th one was going to be, I was going to try to solo normal Fall of Truth, and I almost pulled it off. I actually got everything. I was down to the very end of the raid, bosses both down to 5% health. Did it on the live stream too, but I just ran out of resources. I ran out of mana, and I don't have potions and stuff. If I had a little bit more mana, I could have pulled it off. And I thought about actually activating my epic destinies, because I know with that I could pull it off, but I just decided not to. But I wanted to let you know I actually got really, really close to pulling off the normal Fall of Truth solo as well, and the value of showing that would have been because that's one of only 2 sources of commendations of heroism. So if you were looking for those, I wanted to show you that there's a path for you. But I do want to communicate to you that, I got really close on this character, and if I had just had, say, a legendary ring of spell storing, for example, which is very easy to acquire and make now, then I could have pulled it off. But, this not being my main server and just kind of dusting off a toon from 5 years ago, I don't want to spend any more time building this character up. I'm just dusting it off just to demonstrate that you can do some really cool things even without all the past lives, without all the Reaper points, without great gear, without a high-performing build. There's still really cool things that you can do. And lastly, if you haven't stopped by my Twitch channel, well, I hope you will. And if you have any questions about any of these videos or any of my videos whatsoever, you can always find me live streaming on Twitch Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern, or raids on Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you have never been there, I hope to see you there soon. Enjoy the legendary Hound of Xoriat solo on Northwynd. If you are somewhat familiar with Hound of Xoriat, but not super familiar with it, the idea of soloing this raid at first seems pretty crazy. But because it's a very unique raid, it's actually very soloable if you know how to do it. And you don't need to be a baller or a shot caller, and you don't even need 20-inch blades on your Impala to pull this off. Because you're not the one DPSing, so you don't need monster DPS, and you're not the one tanking, so you don't need to be super survivable. What's unique about this raid is you get, you've got ZZ, the raid boss, and her 3 little puppies, and you charm the puppies to fight her. That's how the raid works. And you don't need charm spells to charm the puppies. It has nothing to do with are you a caster and can cast charm spells. There's special Xoriat control stones available in the raid. That's how you charm the puppies. And it is not DC based. It's just a clicky and it automatically charms them as long as you had them targeted and you don't miss. So then it just becomes a process of acquiring those, 3 of those charming stones, getting the puppies, charmed and letting them beat on ZZ. That's all you got to do. So you got to find a way to do that and stay alive long enough to get that set up. This is a 5-minute raid. And unlike Heroic Hound of Xoriat, you don't have to run through the subterranean to get to Legendary Hound of Xoriat, which you enter right here. And because this is just a 5-minute raid, if you, as you're practicing learning how to solo it, you're not wasting a lot of time if you fail. You've only wasted a couple, 2-3 minutes, tops. Because it's only a 5-minute raid to begin with. So, the first 2 times I did it on this character, I pulled it off first time. The third time I did it, which was a couple months ago on the live stream, it took me like 5-6 tries to pull it off. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so what we're going to do is start off by heading this way. And just checking to make sure my gear's on. We are going to first, the control stones come from these mind flares. So I'm going to kill the mind flare and grab the soul stone or control stone. Oops. I'm trying to use spells that I have on Ginger. Wow, it takes forever to DPS him on this character. This is a low DPS character. This is not a DPS build. But I'm trying to show you that even on this toon, I can do it. There's one of the puppies. Do not DPS the puppies. You need them to stay alive. We have to charm them so they do our work for us. It's okay if they take a little bit of damage, no big deal. This is the part where it's going to start getting tricky because ZZ is going to come out and start harassing me. And I need to, I need to stay alive. And she's going to overrun me and overrun me and overrun me. And I got to try to get a spell or 2 off. Okay, there's the 3rd control stone, which I need to get. Which I just got. Okay. So now I'm going to get away from her by going into wolf form. And try to snow slide away from her, but she still caught me. She is a pain in the butt. You have to load up the control stones into your hotbar, which I already have done because I you know, I've soloed this on this toon before. So let's see if we can do this. Okay, there's one dog charmed. And we need that dog to get ZZ's aggro. Okay, there's two dogs charmed, but they're like attacking each other. That's very bad. So I'm just gonna... There we go. So now they're all charmed. They should grab ZZ's aggro. And they got ZZ's aggro now. Great. Okay, I am purposefully not going to buff those dogs. If you buff the dogs, they beat her down even faster. I'm purposely not doing that to show you that you don't need to. If you can, that's great. Give them bull strength, give them haste, give them bard songs, give them every buff that you can, and greater heroism will not make them break free from the charm because they do not get saves against it. It is an automatic thing. You just need to make sure to keep the beholders away from them because the beholder's anti-magic aura will dispel that. You also need to make sure to keep trash away from those dogs because the trash will distract the dogs off of ZZ, and you need those dogs to be DPSing ZZ, not being killed by trash mobs. So make sure that you distract the trash mobs from those puppies. Okay, all puppies are on ZZ. She just reached her first threshold. ZZ is invincible at this point in the raid, and it's not until the puppies get her down to like 20% health that she becomes vulnerable. Keep an eye on their health. You may need to heal them, although on Legendary they have a lot of hit points, so you might not need to heal them at all. Also, don't get in front of ZZ because she does her bee breath, so if you're like out in front of her, she can hit you with her bee breath, and that's a giant pain in the butt, and you're better off just restarting probably if you get the bee breath. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a mass regenerate out there just to be safe. And you could even examine the dogs to see how much time left they have on their charm. And we're just waiting for them to get ZZ down to about 20% health, and we're going to get a DM message that says, ZZ's wounds are grave. Now is the time to strike, and then you can DPS her. She's immune to a lot of elemental damage, but on the cold druid, I can use the Mantle of the Icy Soul vulnerability to make her vulnerable to cold. I can also use Word of Balance. And there she goes. She's at her threshold. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we just finish her off. These dishes are done, son. Tell me you can't do that. Okay, I know you can. It's gonna take some practice. It's gonna take some practice because, you know, you gotta go here, kill this guy, grab the stone. Go here, kill this guy, grab the stone. Go there, kill the other guy, grab the stone. Bring everything to the center, charm the dogs. CZ's gonna knock you down. If you get knockdown immunity, it's gonna make it a lot easier. Or if you have a way to get away from her quickly, like with wings or snow slide or something, that's gonna help. So it's gonna take some practice, but once you get it down, then now you're empowered to be able to solo this raid every 3 days and start working on your piles of Threads of Fate. So for those of you who are exclusively soloers and thinking, I'm never going to get Threads of Fate because I can't solo a legendary raid, I just did it on a 5-year-old character. But I haven't touched this character in 5 years. I'm level 30 still. I don't even have my epic destinies activated, and my gear is garbage by today's standards, and it wasn't even top-end gear 5 years ago. Not even close. I have some heroic gear on still, and I just pulled the solo off. I didn't do this to show you that I could do it. I did it to show you that you can do it. So I would like you guys to be inspired to solo Legendary Hound of Xoriat if you've never done it, because it's a really fun challenge. And when you do it, you're going to be like, hell yeah, I just solo Legendary Hound of Xoriat. Solo Legendary Hound of Xoriat. You can too.